Can anyone guess where I am? Correct. Whilst everyone else is in California, I'm in Lourdes in France at a very special event to check out some brand new downhill bikes. So why am I here? Well, this is not a race, this is a UCI test event from the organisers, basically to iron out some of the scheduling differences from last year and let the riders basically give their opinions. So loads of stuff going on there, but it's also a brilliant opportunity for us to be here to see the riders on the hill, but also have a look around the pits and check out some of their brand new downhill bikes we've maybe not seen yet. So let's go and have a look. All right, well, we might as well start with the big S. We've got Loic Bruni and Jordan Williams, two demos, but two different bikes. Okay, let's start with Jordan Williams' Specialized demo. It is the aluminium frame with that kind of lovely marbly paint on there. It's a one-off frame size actually, so it's about the size of an S4, but it's long. So it's actually longer than the biggest XL frame they do. So that's quite interesting, obviously for stability. These bikes are mixed wheel size, fresh tyres, look good with the hairs on them. Jordan actually runs a cush core just in the rear for compliance as much as it is for sort of saving a race. You know, more often than not, you'll get a puncture on the rear if you're going to get a puncture, so you can still ride, but obviously gives you that feel as well. Everything else is fairly standard. We have a custom tune on the Olin suspension, as you would expect, but also really interesting that BYB telemetry setup on the bike to get all the information about what the fork and the shock is doing on this track at Lourdes. So we've got two of the prototype demos, we'll call them, under the tent. We've got Finn Earls' bike. I don't think Finn's actually here. And then we can see Bruni's bike in the background with his mechanic working on it. And it's been a really muddy day here actually. You can see he's got the saddle with like a grip on top. Some of the riders like that. If their pants get muddy, it stops them sliding around. You can also see more telemetry, but now you can see the brake sensors underneath the calipers. And up on the bars, you've got three controls. And I can see some lights flashing as well. It's all going on now. I don't know if that's for setting the telemetry stuff to record or if it's for the what we think is Olin's electronic lockout. Who knows? As friendly as they are in the Specialized tent, they won't tell me anything about Loic Bruni's bike because there's nothing to say about it apparently, but I think there's probably a lot to say about it. It looks very cool. It looks a lot like an Atherton bike, the way it's built. Like 3D printed lugs and carbon tubes that go into them. There's some electronic Olin's wizardry underneath that cover, I would take a guess at. And check out the chainstay on the bike as well, completely different to the standard demo. And hopefully we'll see a few more spy shots of Loic riding that bike this weekend. Right, I'm in the Madison Saracen pits. Check out their brand new downhill bike, which is exciting, but I'll check that out in a minute because I've spotted this. This is Ewan, who's Matt Walker's mechanic. He's got this Makita drill basically with this DT Swiss tool on here for building wheels really quick. That basically slides into a DT Swiss nipple, so from the outside of the rim you razz it in, and then there's a little thing there that when it gets to the spoke, that's the right depth, and it sort of pushes the spoke nipple off the end. Really impressed with that, and if you're going to build wheels, that's the way to do it. All right, to the bikes, there's two of these in existence at the moment. This is Matt Walker's. In the background you might see Greg Williamson's bikes being cleaned up because the weather has gone to pot here in Lourdes. But anyway, it's a good chance for us to check out the stuff underneath the tents. So this is the brand new Saracen Mist. As you can see, it's aluminium, completely sort of unbranded at the moment. As I say, there's more prototypes coming. But they've actually worked quite hard on this bike to make sure that the shock is lower in the frame. So actually now it's got a pull linkage compared to a push linkage on the old bike. But what they did, they tested a load of break-in floating arms on that last frame to get the feel of what they wanted out of this new bike. It is a mixed wheel size, so 29 up front, 27.5 rear, and actually apparently the next frame is coming with inbuilt sort of ports because they use this BYB telemetry that we're seeing a lot of in the pits here during practice, all through time training, to see what the bike is doing, how the suspension is performing, and they're sort of integrating into that build of the bike with a battery up behind the number plates. Not on this bike at this moment, but that's quite interesting as well. We're over at the Santa Cruz Syndicate pits, all the riders here. We've got Greg Minnaar, Laurie Greenland, Jackson Golston, Nina Hoffman, and they're on that V10.8. It's the first time I've seen this bike in real life. We've done a full pro bike check on Jackson Golston's bike, so that's coming soon, but I'll talk through some of the details anyway. So Jackson, Nina and Laurie all ride the mixed wheel size bike, whereas Greg runs a full 29er. The bike's got a chainstay adjust, got a high and low setting on the rear shock. Jackson's bike is actually the most finished of the lot apparently. It's got sort of this chainstay protection and a mini fender on the back. Looks super neat. Really sort of quite a subtle bike. The branding on these bikes are really subtle. You can see Nina's bike in the background. That's got that BYB telemetry all over it, which I've talked about a lot already, but riders love using that stuff for setting their bikes up. And yeah, bikes are all clean now, but they've had quite a wet day up on the hill. Right, it's the end of the day. I'm under the Trek tent where people are cleaning up bikes, and this is Lourdes Vergier's Trek session, looking good. Lovely paint job on this bike. It's got, look at this sort of chain guide going on there with that idler. There's an O chain on this bike as well. It's quite interesting. Up front, there's a RockShox boxer crown that I've not seen before, so I wonder if that's a sort of pre-production version. Some super tacky ODI grips with a bit of a slice out underneath, kind of, I guess, bring down the diameter a little bit. That's quite interesting. But also looking at these new SRAM Code Ultimate Stealth brakes. So these are where the hoses come out super close to the bar, and actually nice for downhill bikes. It tucks in right behind that number plate, plus that new caliper as well. Also Bergtech new components for Trek this year. All right, I'm here with the fast Irish rider Ronan Dunne. You got your first World Cup podium last year coming in. How do you feel about this season coming?
Yeah, feeling pretty good. Had a good off season of plenty of bike riding, got a new trainer, and yeah, I've been grafting away, I'd say. But yeah, pretty good off season, nice and long. So.
I'm checking your bike out. This is new proof to send to the public, but actually you rode this bike last year. Tell us what you like about this bike and how you set it up.
Yeah, I got this last year for William World Cup, so I've been on it a fair bit. But yeah, I love it. Just you can kind of give up on riding skill and just hold on, and like she'll get you down the track. So I think a lot of people have seen me do that plenty of times. But like, yeah, I have it maxed out, kind of everything, full 29er, like headset as far as go, back end as far as go, just so when you kind of run out of skill, the bike will get you down a bit. But yeah, she's going well.
I love looking at it. XL frame as well. How tall are you?
I'd like to say 7 foot, but I think I'm 6'1" maybe. But yeah, XL frame. So trying to just get as much as a motocross bike I can get.
Commissala here with a bit of a retail expo, and the race team are over there. But looking at the Downhill Supreme, you see like a bit of plastic on the side that sort of directs air towards the rear disc rotor. I've not seen that before. Race team are over there. We've got Omri Pirion and Thibaut Dupre. No Miriam Nicole, actually. There were rumours of a new Supreme being here this weekend, but actually the bike hasn't shown up, so they're riding the same bike. Right, Atherton bikes are here. Pro riders, they've got Charlie Hatton and Andreas Karp, and this is Andreas's bike, so let's check it out. You can see the front end of this bike is sort of lacquered, so that's finished. Actually, the rear end is raw, so the guy's trying something out with those tubes. Different sizing, I'm guessing. This is the AM200, 200mm, mixed wheel size bike. Some FSA gradient parts in it. The bars alloy, quite roll back actually, that's quite interesting. O-chain on there, so we've seen a few of these riders run those, trying to get rid of some of that pedal kickback. And some of these new Hayes Dominion brakes, purple Hayes, I only just got that, I was told that, with Galfa pads and rotors, 223 front rotor, 203 rear. New stands rear hubs, actually M-Pulse that's called, so it's got a set of springs in the pulls, it's just magnetic. All right, there's some of the downhill tech from the pits here in Lourdes, and I can't wait for that first round of Downhill World Cup in Lenzerheide in June. Head over to GMBN Racing, where I'll be doing a racing news show from here, talking to some of the pros and some of the key players about some of the changes that are coming to downhill racing. Plus, if you want to watch all the action from the UCI Mountain Bike World Cup this year, head over to GCN Plus, get yourself a subscription. There'll be live elite finals from downhill, cross country and short track, and on-demand highlights.